coming up on Relatables.
You're allowed to have problems even when you have a really good job. You're allowed to have problems even when you have a bad mental state.
Yep.
But everything around you is going good. You might have a good boyfriend, a good job, good family, but you're still depressed. You're allowed to be depressed. It's just like humanity's telling you, no, you've got everything good. Why are you depressed?
Jake and Artie, the Relatables party. Relatables.
The Relatables podcast is hosted by myself, Audie Clark, a.k.a.
Mummy.
and my partner in crime, Mr. Jake Craig, a.k.a. Daddy.
Daddy.
Let's get straight into it without touching on that point, mate.
Okay.
What have you got to start the episode with today, Jake?
So, welcome back, everybody. We haven't seen each other probably for about a week, actually. It's
been a good week.
The last time we...
Really good week.
It's been just under a week, all right?
Yeah. You're counting the days, and I'm thinking this is great. When will I see Audie again?
So, from the last time we recorded, if you're on actually the highest level of Patreon, you would have known. So I went to Melbourne this weekend.
You did.
And went to the ColdPlay concert. Highly recommend if you can get tickets. It was fucking hectic.
That's sold out, eh?
Oh, yeah. I remember. Yeah, my dad.
Must be nice, man. Highly recommend if you can't get tickets, but.
So I don't know how long this tour of theirs is, where you live. I don't know if you could get this year in advance drop. Who knows? But watch some videos maybe. But okay. So it was like my dad's Christmas present to the family. Yeah. That's what we got for Christmas last year. And so we got to go. Anticipation, great. He got tickets for Melbourne. And we are from Sydney region. Basically, I don't even want to talk about ColdPlay, but what I want to talk about is, so we flew to Melbourne and I didn't bring a check bag, but a lot of my family did. So when we get off, we're waiting at the bag carousel and I was waiting there. I was doing my own thing. They're waiting for their bags. And then I noticed there was a fella he would have been middle-aged, like heavier guy, but he was paraplegic, like waist down.
Yes.
And in a wheelchair. And he had a backpack on. And then he had this bag that looked like it was sort of specially made for his wheelchair. It had these hooks at the back where it's like it looked like he could hook it on. And then there was wheels on his bag and he could go on do his business. And so he had his bag and I could see him trying to get it on these hooks. And I was thinking to myself, first instinct was like, I was about to be like, oh, let me help you. Okay? I was going to be like, oh, let me help you. And then I decided not to because I was like, he probably gets that all the time and gets so fucking annoyed. Some random guy trying to just like be a hero.
Yeah.
You know, because I have a cousin that she's not paraplegic, but like she has like minimal use of limbs.
Yeah.
And she gets a little annoyed if people try and like treat her super different. And so I would like to ask you what you think happened next.
So something happened. Well, we probably asked for your help.
So
because he saw you probably staring at him all weirdly.
So I was probably about this far from.
Because I'm probably thinking, Jake in his head probably thinks he's being discreet and thinking like, should I help this guy? Should I not? And like, actually, he's just looking at him being like, and the guy's probably like, is this guy going to ask to help or what?
Yeah, true. It's a good point. So I thought I was being discreet, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck. And I decided against offering help because I was like, I bet you he gets it all the time. And then just before I could even think my next thought, he leaned too far back and back he went.
No.
I'm not kidding.
Oh, that's not what I thought was going to happen.
He just
poor guy.
Slow motion. And I was like, fuck. Slow motion. He had to kind of like give up. He fell back. And then obviously I was near him, so I rushed over.
Yeah.
And then my dad and another guy rushed over, and then you can hear his wife going, oh, James, like, what happened? It was obvious what happened. He fucking fell back. And he wasn't talking. He was just like, he's like, I'm all right. And so then his fucking leg was stuck in his chair. Dad and this other guy were helping him. And then I had to get his leg out, and I set up his chair. They helped him back in. My dad was like, what's the best way to do this to his wife? Like, she was like, just 3, 2, 1, we all lift.
Did he fall completely out of the chair, like
Yes.
on the ground? Okay.
Yes. And so I felt terrible. I felt so bad. Like, he got himself sorted out. Like, his wife got his bag, she had her bag, and they went off.
Yeah.
And he would have been quite embarrassed. He didn't really say anything. And I was like, fair enough. She said thank you. And then I went over to my dad and I was like telling him, I like didn't want to admit that I had this thought of like wanting to help him. But I went over to my dad and I was like, God, I was so close to offering for help, but I didn't want to do it. My dad goes, same. Because my dad must have been watching him.
Yeah.
And he goes, same here. I nearly offered to help him, but I was like, he gets this all the time. Probably I don't want to be a dick. And so now, moral of the story is anytime I see someone in a wheelchair, I'm sorry, I'm offering help.
Okay. That's a good outcome to the story. I guess it's better also to offer and get rejected rather than not offer at all.
True. Yeah. Like I'd rather offer and then even be a dick to me and be like, I don't need your fucking help. I don't care. At least I know I offered.
Yeah. It's not good to assume, is it?
Nah, I just I felt terrible. And my younger sister, she saw it happen.
Yeah,
We were there as
yeah.
a family. She cried. She felt so bad.
Oh, what?
I just felt terrible. So it must have been so embarrassing. Like,
He wasn't hurt, was he?
no, he wasn't even hurt, but you
Okay.
could tell he was just so bummed out by it.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling it was like, the vibe I was getting was like he had not been a paraplegic for long.
Yeah, so he's still learning probably.
Yeah, because like you'd
Oh,
see,
that's
it's
kinda
like,
sad.
yeah, he had this big scar. I just felt so fucking bad, and I just wanted to go up to him and be like, man, I was thinking about helping him, but obviously I wasn't going to do that.
No, that story has a really good like moral behind it. Like,
I will now be offering help regardless of whether or
and
not
it's better for you to get rejected than someone who's going through all these problems
Yeah.
just to say no, I guess.
Yeah, I felt, yeah. What would you, and I wanted to actually ask you, like, I'm assuming you would have had the same thought process.
When you were telling the story, I had the exact same thinking process.
Yeah, like, don't help him.
Yeah, I would be like, I
Sweet.
would have thought, oh, fuck, I don't want to look like a hero. Everyone's going to be like, oh, this guy's always going to fucking
Yeah.
ask.
Made you
That's
appreciate.
a sad story, but it makes you appreciate like what you've got and also like to offer a helping hand when you can.
Yeah.
And it's it's better to be rejected, I guess.
Yeah, no, good point.
Wow.
Definitely better to be rejected.
Yeah.
Fuck. And then we saw him again at, I reckon they went to ColdPlay.
Yeah.
Because
It's probably everyone was going there for that.
we were flying home and checked into the airport, and then I saw him and his wife wheel into like the priority lane.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way. I was like, I wanted to go say hi and be like, what'd you do in Melbourne, man? Something else actually kind of funny happened. My family has never seen me get recognized.
Oh, yeah.
And
Your stories start with like, must be nice.
And yeah, I mean, fair. Totally fair. This is just like something funny.
Yeah.
So, because I was also filming a vlog,
Yeah.
like of going there, and my family's in the vlog, like,
Yeah. Well, the thing is, as soon as we pop our camera out, it's like, oh, it is those guys.
yeah, exactly. And so we're on the plane, and I was filming myself talking about something. I was like sitting on my own.
Yeah.
6 of them are all together, and I was near them, but I was like, la. And then on the plane, I started editing just for the hour, just because I needed to edit some stuff for the podcast. And then I didn't talk to the guy next to me the whole time. But then when I'm getting off the plane, it happened to us once before. The air hostess just said like, oh, I really like your podcast. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. Like, yeah. But then as I was getting off the plane, the guy next to me, he was behind me and he goes, oh, like, do you have a blog or something like that? And I was like, oh no, I actually have a podcast. And then I was talking to him in the tunnel. And then as we were walking out, I was about to meet up with my family. And then he goes like, what are you in Melbourne for? And I was like, I'm actually here with my family to go to ColdPlay. And he goes, oh, same.
Yeah.
And then as he's like, I'm like, oh, here's my family. See you. He goes, yeah, see you tonight. And I was like, what?
Maybe it's a
I was
nice
like,
gesture.
I was like, oh, have a good night. And he was like, oh yeah, see you tonight. And I was like, dude, there's gonna be like 70,000 people there. I do not think we're gonna see each other. And then I was praying the stars align, and then I ended up sitting next to him, but it didn't happen.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
Wait, is that the guy who recognized you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, no, the person that recognized me was the air hostess.
Oh, right, the air
and like,
hostess,
yeah,
sure,
like my
sure.
dad, they hear it, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then the funny part was like, I was standing next to my family, and then all they would have heard was him going, "See you tonight," and I was like, "I don't think you're gonna see me tonight."
Fair.
It
Well,
just reminded me of like a moment where you're at like Guzman or something, and they go, "Enjoy your meal," and you're like, "Yeah, you too."
yeah. Yeah, I hate that, eh?
So
you don't know
bad
what to
at
say, and then your brain takes over, and you're like, fuck you, brain.
I know. You're just like, I'm just gonna.
He was
fucking
probably awkward
leave.
too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have just been like, "Oh fuck."
He
like-
probably went home and he's like, damn it, why did I say that?
that?
now you're talking about it on your podcast.
Yeah,
poor guy.
exactly. Poor fucker.
Okay, Jake, I think we can all agree something that's relatable is the cost of living crisis.
Yeah, Australia's getting hit with it.
Yeah, we are. And like things are getting more and more expensive and they're becoming more unattainable in our brain and physically.
Yes. Yep.
And have you ever seen those videos of like, I think it's Jeff Bezos or these really rich people try and guess the prices of like generic household items?
I've seen Bill Gates do
Yeah,
it.
maybe it was Bill Gates.
Someone's like, because someone was like, when was the last time you went grocery shopping? And he's like, don't know.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, do you want to try and guess what some items cost? And at the time in America, they were like a gallon of milk and it was like $2. And he goes, I don't know, $8.
Yeah.
They were like, no, it's not $8.
So basically, it's going off that premise, but we flipped it. So I've got how much does things cost and the cost of living crisis, and all these things are probably things you're never going to buy, and they're unattainable now because of this fucking cost of living crisis.
Unattainable items, okay.
Yeah, and I've started little, and then I've actually got really big.
Okay.
And some things that you're obviously never going to buy, but still, it's nice to know.
So I need to guess the price.
Yeah. So we're going to start with how much does it cost? A kilo tin of Milo.
Oh, I actually don't even know if I want to know. I'm going with, $6?
Mate, this is like Jeff Bezos flipped. $16.
Frick! What?
A kilo tin of Milo. I told you I've complained about Milo on the pod before, and you're like, oh yeah, fuck, who cares, just buy it. $16 for a kg, mate.
That's daylight robbery
I
from
know.
fucking Coles and Woolies, eh?
That's Woolworths price. Okay,
Are
next.
you wait. $16?
Yeah, that's crazy. It goes on sale sometimes, but bog standard, $16 when there's no sales on.
Crazy.
Okay, how much does it cost? This is the only relatable one that you might buy.
Okay.
1 kilo of Cheer light and tasty cheese.
Oh, I might know this one because I very recently bought a kilo of cheese. No. Yeah. A big block.
Yeah.
And it cost me $13.
So is that your guess?
Yeah.
$14
It's gone up since I bought it.
for a kilo of cheese. Okay, next one.
No, I'm not. I mean, I had to pay for my $13 cheese.
I go to
and
Audi, man. Like, that's the only thing that makes things a reasonable price.
Oh, really?
It's crazy. Yeah, everything's like half the price.
Shit.
Audi and Woolies are just terrible. They're price gouging everything.
No, Coles
eh?
and Woolies.
Yeah. Coles and Woolies are just price gouging everything, eh?
Fuck me.
Okay, how much does it cost? A 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser Troopy.
Whoa.
I want to add that these are like a year and a half wait to get one if you want a new one.
Yeah, these are so popular now that Toyota actually was going to stop making them, but then Australians started ordering them heaps.
Yeah.
Man, they've got to be like 70, 75K.
82,500.
Really?
Yeah.
I would like to say something about Troopies.
What? You had one, to be
I
fair.
had one.
That's why I picked it.
I had a 1986 model. Okay?
Yeah.
While I had my 1986 model Troopy, I loved it. It was great.
I loved it too.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
Like very, very, very simple inside. Like the most simple you can get, really. And I know someone, while I had mine, who got a brand new Troopy, like 2022 model at the time or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was brand fucking new. And in terms of like interior and technology, they barely upgraded.
I know.
I was like, you've got what I've got.
I don't know why people are buying them. They're still like not automatic doors.
I know.
You got to
wind
manually
down the window.
That's crazy to pay $82,500 and you have to wind down the window.
I
know
wonder
it's
if
like,
they at least have cruise control now, because mine didn't. All I could do with mine.
you paid for the engine. But also, if you buy one on the secondhand market, they actually go up in price.
Yeah, people will order two.
Yeah.
And then when they get them both, they'll sell one of them for more than
Like $100K.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
Next one. How much does it cost? A 2024 Mercedes-Benz G-Class, a.k.a. G-Wagon.
Oh, fuck. Whenever we see one of these, Beth is like, that's what I want.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
sick.
like, good luck.
She can't even drive.
Okay. I reckon, they'd be different, like top of the line, bottom of the line. I'm going to go like minimum,
This is bog standard one.
like $300K.
$396,000.
Holy shit! Really?
Imagine, I didn't.
That's like bog. That's like, and you
Yeah.
could get better.
Yeah, you can get, I think it's bog standard in the middle. You can get a worse one, but you can get a better one.
Holy shit!
I didn't realize how much they were on the road.
$392,000.
96, mate. Don't sell it short. 96.
$396,000.
Yeah.
That better be worth every penny. How can that be worth? That's the price of a small fucking apartment.
I know. Just the money is uncomprehendable, eh?
Oh, money sucks. Money sucks.
Okay, this is where it gets interesting. How much does it cost? The median house price where we live on the Central Coast.
Oh, I actually think I know this.
What is it?
I'm pretty sure it's $1 million.
Is that your guess?
Yeah.
1,070,000.
Oh, really? Okay, so yeah, about nearly 1,100. So, sorry, nearly 1.1 million.
Yeah. So what is the median house price? Sydney Bondi.
Bondi?
Yeah.
3 million?
$3.85 million for the median house price in Bondi. Talk about unattainable.
Oh, really?
How wild is that? Like, I just don't understand how these people are making so much money. Like, what do they do? I just don't get it.
I want to.
We'll leave it on this.
What?
This is the most mind-boggling.
Yeah.
So, obviously, interest rates vary basis on the interest rate and how long you do it for, whatever. But this is an average. How much would you pay on $1 million loan over 30 years on average?
Oh, it's something crazy. I very recently have been looking this up, and it's fucking crazy. So a 30-year loan, because of the interest, you pay something like it's like 2.1 million altogether.
Mate, you're good. $2.34 million on
Fucking
$1 million loan.
hell.
And the medium house price in where we live, which is like bog standard Australia,
yeah.
is $1 million.
What?
I know you're going to save, obviously, and put a deposit on it, but still. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, but
just hurts your soul thinking about it.
it makes it's very life
Kicks you in the balls sometimes, eh?
It does.
I was thinking about it today, driving to the gym. I was like, why do we make life this concept? It's work 5 days a week. Everything I do, I got to make the most amount of money. Like, why don't we make the concept like work 3 days a week? We all win.
Yeah.
Like everything's affordable. We all just have a good time. But instead, it's like, I've got to make more money than you. How can I make money off you doing this?
Yeah, that's actually a good
Like
question.
you leave the house these days and you pay fucking $20 on tolls.
Oh, in Sydney, yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you leave the
Yeah.
house, someone's making money off you just by leaving your house.
That's a good point, actually.
I've never understood like the concept of like, obviously we can't change anything, but it's just so hard to grasp. But like, no one made a concept of life it is enjoyable, but like it could be way more enjoyable.
It's very like we're very what's the word called? We're very ego based. You know, like in terms of like if you can afford if you can afford a really nice car, like great. But like what is the reason you have that car? You know? Cuz obviously a cheaper car, like a very very way cheaper car would suffice.
Yeah, it gets you from A to B.
Yeah, like what's the reason that you need the luxury car, even though a lot of the time you really only drive it to and from work? Like, what is the reason? And I feel like a lot of people would asking themselves that reason. I bet you a lot of it is because they want to do it for themselves, but also it's status.
Yeah,
Everything about us is status.
it is
really.
It really is.
You know, even think about like, there's this fucking game called CS:GO, and I got a cousin actually so you can pay money, like maybe $100, and you get like a gift box. It's like
I
a
know this
mystery
game,
It's like
yeah.
a mystery box or something.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're about to say.
I got a cousin that bought just like a mystery box, and I think he just got like a super rare knife in it.
Yeah.
And this is just in a video game. And some guy in Korea paid him $40,000 for this knife in a game. Yeah. And the whole reason for it is status. We are status creatures of like, he's just going to run around in the game killing people with this knife, and people are going to be like, I just got killed by the sickest fucking knife. Like,
I don't get how it's worth anything. And it's the same thing with like iPhones. Everyone always has to buy the new iPhone. You've got the fucking 15 Pro Max, does the job better than any phone could ever imagine. And then you've got to go and buy the brand new one just for some reason. We're just like, it's consumerism too. And it's just like,
100%.
when did we get like that? Even like the housing market became a business.
It did, didn't it?
It's now a business of people. And then the people who have families got to spend 30 years to pay off $1 million house, which will cost them fucking $4 million.
Man, I don't even. I
Just being,
you know what makes you? It makes you think like, are we? So it makes you, if we talk about maybe the podcast or our own lives, like we're in it.
Oh yeah,
You know, like we are in it. Like I drive a Hyundai Getz. If we had just like a dumb amount of disposable income and our accountant was like, boys, you're either going to pay this much in tax or you can go buy a brand new car and fucking, you won't pay this much in tax. I'd be like, well, fuck it. Yeah. Give me a new car. Like that's going to be hectic. Like, but my car, like genuinely, like
does the job.
It's fine. I drive to Sydney like twice a week in it and it's an hour and a half drive and it's fine.
But growing up and figuring out all these issues is just like, I don't know, it just makes me sad.
I know.
It's just like, oh.
Also,
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Nah, true.
Like, honestly, there is nothing.
But also like we're very, very lucky as well. Like it's so easy. I find it so easy to talk about everything we're talking about right now and be like, fuck, you know, so hard, which it is. You know, everyone's hardships are their own. Yeah. Everyone has a different opinion. Everyone's experienced life in a different way. But also just trying to like accept the fact that, not even accepting the fact, just trying to remember the fact that where we were born makes us lucky. Having parents that are like supportive make us lucky. Yeah. Having, I don't know, any like...
Well, that's a good tip to help. Putting your life into perspective of thinking about like other people who aren't as lucky, even though they are our problems, like they're good problems to have. But it still is hard. But that's a good tip to like help the situation, especially if it's becoming overwhelming with all these fucking cost of living crises going on. And we're very privileged to be in certain positions that some people aren't privileged to be in.
100%.
Yeah.
I was watching some TED Talks yesterday, and one of them, maybe I was thinking about not bringing it up because it was a little confusing, but it had a pretty good message. But one of these like little stats in there was that they've obviously there's so many different studies on the human psyche, and one of them was that this guy said was that, you know, people that hold the value of money over other things, they are like a crazy percentage higher chance of being clinically depressed. Really? Yeah. And I was just like, I mean, look, probably you're not wrong, because you are chasing just like this random little material thing. Like,
well, one thing, funny you bring that up actually, is like one thing I've been trying to practice a little bit more is definitely unhealthy with our job. There's always one more thing you can do. And I'm trying to detach myself from that a little bit and take the time to do something with a friend or communicate with someone that I don't necessarily, it doesn't outcome the podcast better.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like I'll just go and sit out, have a coffee down and have lunch for a couple of hours with my mate and not think about, fuck, I've got to go home and do this fucking thing for the pod. I got to research this. I got to edit this.
Yeah.
Like, cause that's building our brand, but then my mental health's maybe taking a bit of a beating, but doing this is, I got to accept that that's beneficial for me, just talking to someone, communication, and like finding a balance between the two.
That's a very good point. We are also the first humans in all of human history to be not part of tribes.
Oh, meaning?
So men and women, human beings, we're tribal creatures, like to be in a group, like as a sense of belonging. Like we need belonging. Like we need it. But now, for some reason, there's this whole thing of like, we need to do everything on our own to feel fulfilled.
Accomplished.
Or so like, for instance, if you were maybe feeling shit about yourself, you'd probably say to yourself, I mean, I'm guilty of it. You'd probably say to yourself like, you know, I need to fucking sort this out and not bring it up.
Yeah.
You know, be like, this isn't anyone else's problem but my own. Whereas back in the day when we were in tribes, if you had an issue, you'd bring it up.
Everyone helped.
And it's everyone's issue. And everyone, like, it's like if you're down, we're all like, the weakest link is what we are. We need everyone to be.
We're no longer a team, really.
Yeah, we're not a team at all.
If you have a good family, you have a good family team. But otherwise, we do have this weird independence power trip, don't we?
Yeah.
It's like, I've got to do everything by myself. I've got to be independent. I've got to pay my bills. I've got to have a good mental health. I've got to do everything by myself. I don't know why I got like that, hey.
It's weird.
Because you do need, like, the whole thing about humanity is connection. That's like 100%. That's what makes us work good. That's what humans need, is to connect to people.
Yep.
But It's just growing up's hard.
It is hard. It's hard. Yeah, I don't even know where we could go. We could probably talk about
Like
this
even my
forever and
mindset
ever.
right now is like, should I be complaining about it? We're in a good position, but it's like it is hard.
Fuck, good point. That's
relatable for anyone. Like you're allowed to have problems even when you have a really good job. You're allowed to have problems even when you have a bad mental state.
Yep.
But everything around you is going good. You might have a good boyfriend, a good job, good family, but you're still depressed. You're allowed to be depressed. It's just like humanity's telling you, no, you've got everything good. Why are you depressed?
Fuck. What you just said was fucking insane. Do you want dilemmas time?
Okay.
Because what you... oh, fuck. Listen to this. All right. Well, so we're going to go into dilemmas going off what I just said. I feel like I have a pretty perfect life. I am 25. I have a good job, financial stability, a really happy relationship. I live in a great city with lots of opportunity. I have a variety of hobbies and a good friend group. But I keep feeling a really strong urge to up and leave it all. Give it all up and move to another country without warning. I feel really guilty for feeling this way, as I have most of what anyone could ever want, in quotations. Recently, though, a couple of opportunities in this city fell through, leaving me feeling the only reason I'm still here is my relationship. He is absolutely wonderful, and I want to be with him. He also can't leave this city at the moment due to his own commitments. I feel a really strong need to follow opportunities overseas, study/career/sports. But don't know how to approach this conversation with him. Is it normal to feel so claustrophobic with a good, stable life? How can I choose between my relationship/stability and the complete unknown?
Wow. I didn't even know that dilemma was coming.
No, that's why I was like, wait, whoa. Because I was thinking, I was keen to bring that dilemma up. I didn't think we were going to talk about all that chat. Yeah.
It's such a relatable dilemma. It's just like...
So, like, she has everything.
And she feels guilty that she doesn't feel like that's what she wants.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so relatable to have all these things too and, like, not know what you want.
100%.
Like, oh, yeah. And it's also like society's put this false perception that what you've got is good. Like, why is all that good?
Yeah,
why is it good? Like, it doesn't mean it's necessarily good for me.
Like, is all that good because you were told your whole life that's what you should have?
Yeah.
Like, it's
like the simplest thing to bring it back to is like you finish school, go to uni, you should be good.
Yeah.
Like if as soon as you finish, like, what do you mean you should be good? Like, I'm going to be depressed after I just studied for 4 years and now I'm put in the workforce and I don't understand how life is. What do you mean I should be good now? I'm getting paid 100K now. I'm a fucking mess.
It's wild, eh?
Yeah.
And like, if you were to bring this up with someone and they were to judge you like, you know, well, you should have done this a few years ago. It's like, but who says that? Why? But
Yeah.
who made that rule?
It's like this mental juggle in your head that I should be happy because I've got all this behind me.
Yeah.
But like, why?
Who made the rule that I'm not allowed to like go back and do more studying and leave the job that I've got, even though it's great, financially stable, all this stuff? Like, who made the rule that I'm not allowed to change my life?
Yeah, honestly, it becomes a really honorable person when like you can detach from what society thinks and really like, I guess that's listening to your heart. And the dilemma sender, anyone like this, is like, it puts yourself first, really, because she probably doesn't know what she wants, but her soul's calling for something different.
Yeah.
And she needs to find something and she doesn't know what it is. And some people won't listen to that soul and they'll continue to grind because that's what you're told to do. Mm-hmm. And I really envy. I think I have it a little bit. I could be better. I think you're pretty good in listening to like your heart, making it relatable for us. Like when we first started the potty and we made zero money and we were doing it, all our friends in society's eyes and terms were getting ahead. They were building their bank account, building their positions in jobs, whereas we were, I don't know, maybe seen as, what are these guys doing? But we listened to our heart and was like, there's maybe something in this, hey? And that's, I'm trying to make it relatable for me. And I think that's anyone. Like, it's okay to not do what people think are right. It's also like the same dilemma of people think they have to have kids, taking a broad spectrum.
Yeah.
Like some people feel guilty when they don't want to have a kid.
That's a very good point.
Like you can do, it's taking it back to our like first segment sound. Do what you want to do, be what you want to be. Relatables, baby. Honestly. Oh, I'm sick of like society just like controlling everyone's brain when there's no like, they have one solution and one set standards for people when every single person listening right now, thoughts are different. Their body's different. No one understands what's going inside your head, but then they have this one model that says you'll be right if you do all these things.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Yeah, like, fuck, my grandparents, they're like the type of people that, you know, they would constantly... It's like I was working at a bar and I'd left that job because I'd left a carpenter job, which is like considered to be very stable, make good money, to go be a bartender because I hated carpentry. I was a lot happier being a bartender, and they'd be like, you know, you're not going to be able to buy a house working there. Yeah. And I was like, I'll figure it out one day, whatever.
Yeah.
And then when I got a manager, like upgrade, like promoted to manager, that's when they were like, oh, like this could be a serious job. And then with the podcast, like, God, up until, mate, I'm telling you, up until recently, they're just like, what are you doing? And I think I'm just good at kind of being like, you guys are all just old farts, you know, whatever, like fucking. But it's just like the different people's opinions, and you trying to disconnect from them is just the hardest thing.
Well, I think a good question to start asking other people and yourself to build a more healthy environment so people feel okay to do what their soul's telling them to do is, instead of asking like I don't know, what do you, I'm trying to think like what, I'm trying to say ask, are you happy? Instead of like what they're doing now. Like no one ever asks you.
Yeah, no one gives a fuck whether or not you're happy.
Yeah.
They give a fuck whether or not if you have a good, like, it's like, if you hate your job and they say, oh, how's working? Like, I actually really hate it. And they're like, oh, yeah, but it pays good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like
Instead, ask me if I'm happy.
No one ever asks if you're happy other than this big question of like, are you doing what society's telling you to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, like no one ever asks you, are you happy?
That is such a good point.
Yeah.
No one ever says, are you happy?
Because it's not valuable in society's terms because there's no monetary benefit from it. And I think like to normalize people saying like, because I would way prefer to fucking work in a garden, make 60K a year, be happy, than work in a big office firm, make 120K a year, double the thing, and then just be this depressed little man who just is unhappy his whole time.
Would you prefer, would you prefer to work in a garden, you know, being nice and chill, just like at your own pace, make as much as you need, you know, you pay rent, you feed yourself, you've got a girlfriend, you're cool, or do the podcast?
Oh no, podcast. I'm happy. I like this lifestyle. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I did this because I wanted to do it.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But honestly,
okay, to the dilemma.
Yeah,
I think I would like. I don't even like. Obviously, I'm not going to give you any sort of like financial advice or relationship. Like we give relationship advice all the time, but it sounds like your partner's great. But I'm thinking maybe if you could somehow bring up these like urges you're getting with your for all this stuff, like bring it up with your partner, and then, but also let them know like, I think you should have a little plan maybe like in place. You could do things in bite-sized pieces instead of just leaving to a different country. You could try and just maybe get a new job in the current city you're in. You know, I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of options here.
I'm just thinking you just got to definitely voice to him everything that's going on inside your head, and it should be a safe enough environment where he understands where you're coming from. Like, it's okay to say, like, I don't know, hey, James, something's not right for me here. I know I've got all these good things going and I love you, but I need something else and I don't know what it is, and I'm hoping we can find it together.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I wonder if the first step...
Well, does she want to stay with him?
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
I wonder if
I think you got to tell him, because the hardest thing for a boyfriend is like being caught off guard because you haven't told him.
Yeah.
Like, it's better to tell him.
Why don't you tell me?
Yeah, and say some things wrong and get him in the loop and get his brain thinking about it.
Yeah, just set yourself up for failure as well. To just be like, look, I'm going to say some stuff. I'm probably going to say some stuff wrong.
Or
like, I don't know how to say this.
I'm probably going to say some things that hurt you.
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
And like, but by no means is anything I'm about to say like in a hurtful way. Let me reword it.
And nothing's set in stone. I want to figure out a solution where we get what I'm looking for and we are still in love together.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just all about everything in a relationship comes back to communication.
Yeah. I wonder if the first step could be though, like really figuring out why she's feeling these feelings. I wonder if there's a way to figure that out.
Yeah. Oh,
why do I feel this way?
It probably is. Well, she just needs to grow as a person. And I think this is where a lot of relationships break apart, is because one of the partners think, oh, you're changing.
Yeah. Whereas
in reality, growth's really good. And if you can grow together, that's how a relationship flourishes. And that all comes down to communication. But some people, could be like, oh, I fucking love it here. What do you mean you used to love it here a year ago? Like, who cares if you used to love it here a year ago?
You're a different person than a year ago.
Some people can't understand that, which is like, all comes back to communication. Just be open. Tell him how you feel.
Yeah.
And he should understand it because he sounds like a nice guy and you work out a solution together. Like it might, like Jake said, start in bite-sized pieces. Go overseas to start for, I don't know, 1 month. Do a month in Bali. Then next year you do 6 months in Europe. Something like that.
Because all these things that you're just thinking you'll like.
Yeah, you don't know what you like.
You got to go, because like you could up and move and then be committed to like a year in fucking France or something shit.
Yeah.
And be like, well, I hate France.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're going to feel all this pressure to stay because if you go home, everyone's going to be like, you completely fucked your life. And then you're going to feel judged when you shouldn't, but you will. And it's just how we are as humans. I say whatever decision you make, like
back it.
Like fully back yourself in that decision. And if it doesn't work out, you still need to back yourself and be like, okay, well now this is like this is the hand I played. I've got to work it out from here. Like, don't be like, oh, I wish I didn't do this.
Yeah.
Just take it as life experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Back yourself and just keep going about your life after that.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Good luck. That's the most relatable, youthful dilemma ever.
Yeah, I thought this was very relatable.
Everyone experiences that like once. It's sort of like imposter syndrome in a way. Like I've got all these good things here.
Yeah.
Like shouldn't I just fucking love my life when I don't?
Yeah, why don't I love my life? Like I remember having a girlfriend when I was younger and being like, I don't know if we're going to be together forever because like, why would I be together with someone that I've met in my own town? Like I should probably be meeting someone from overseas. I should be meeting someone from Sydney, which I mean, I guess Beth is from Sydney, but I should be meeting someone from like fucking somewhere else. Like, why am I still here? That's just so lame. Why did I think that?
Yeah.
Like we didn't work out in the end, but why did I think that?
This beautiful person's in front of you and you're thinking like, oh, I can't love her. We grew up fucking 15 minutes apart. I don't know why. Our brain just plays tricks on us. And just being honest to yourself and understanding that these emotions are valid and you got to figure them out.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Thank you very much for listening. That was actually like, I didn't know where that episode was going to go.
Neither did I.
Just went where it went.
It just flowed, didn't it?
Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to join the Facebook group.
Facebook group is going good. Honestly, the community we're building is...
Yeah.
I'm so happy and proud about it. All the baddies are like the best people. We're so supportive.
Yeah. There's been no negativity at all.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Oh, honestly, like
If you have a dilemma that you sent to us and we haven't read it yet, go send it in there.
Yeah. And like the baddies are given like there's 20, 30 people's advice rather than just mine and Jake's.
Yeah, exactly.
It's sick.
It's so good.
Love every one of you.
So Relatables, Baddies Unite, Patreon, Relatables. Go get an extra episode every week for $5. But How to Piss Men Off, our favorite book, page 10. So I'm going to read the little blurb first. Say this when a man is playing you a classic rock song. It doesn't have to be true. The odds are he won't know. And if he does, I'm almost certain he won't tell you.
Ooh.
So you say, oh, they sang this on Glee. Do you know that show?
Yeah, see, I wouldn't know too because I vaguely know what Glee is, but I don't really know what it is.
But then if you actually did know they sang it on Glee, you wouldn't want to voice that opinion because of your ego.
Take away rock song, just any song you don't like, your man's playing in the car. You're like, oh, you know they play this on Glee.
And then he's like, oh, they played this on Glee. And he'd be like, yeah. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't like this song anymore.
Unlike. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We love you. Be yourself.
See ya. Yeah, be yourself.
Mate, we just said that at the same time.
We did.
We got a kiss. What do you know? Jinx on the roof.
Oh, it's like Jinx, you owe me a Coke now. You not know Jinx?
No, it's Jinx. We got a kiss.
No,
Yes,
I grew up as if you jinx someone, it was like, it was this. You go Jinx.
Yeah, we jinxed it.
Poke. Can't speak again, and if you do, you owe me a Coke.
No,
that's what I grew up with.
I grew up on Jinx, and if it's under a roof, you have to kiss.
Really?
Yeah. Otherwise, Jinx.
Australia's different. Eh? This is Europe.
You could just say you don't want to kiss me. Far out.